Hello, everybody, on this very exciting evening. What can I say? I know nothing about the subject, but I'm buzzing about the award ceremony that's just taken place. The official Star Wars, or should I say, excuse me, Shill Wars 2021 final. We are so honoured. I'm honoured. I'm trembling with nerves. We've got the man himself, Rian Johnson. Hello, sir.
Rian the man baby.
Hello, man babies.
The man baby.
Man
Hail.
baby Brown and man baby Spockney and man baby Demon. Good to speak to you all, especially while I'm still available on Twitter, because it won't be damn long before they ban my account. But anyway,
the cancellers are after you already.
We are going to make the most of you while we can. So are you good today then, sir? Big day for you today.
Oh, fabulous day. We crowned Onu Shill Wars champions after Brian Young held the title for 2 years running.
Wow.
And it was Star Wars Explained, the popular YouTube channel, who took the crown this year. I think it did help them. It was very close, just a few percent in it, but
it was very close.
Very close, but they took particular issue with a comedy video I posted yesterday, specifically about them. And yeah, they've been trying to get me banned from Twitter. So I think that pushed it over the line. And they are this year's winners of the Brown Nose Award. So there we go.
Jesus.
The brownest noses. Campion was robbed.
Brown nose is no relation, by the way. We'll just say hello to our panel. Cockney Spock, how are you, my friend?
All right, geezer. Well, Campion was robbed.
Writer, artist, captain, Cockney Spock. Are you okay, sir?
I'm writing a script myself, don't you know? Brilliant.
What?
Rook's Drift, what?
This moment?
Yeah, it's going to subvert your expectations.
Oh, please don't.
I can help you with that.
Yeah,
please don't.
We want to. You were expecting something.
You've come to the right channel. Yes.
You've come to the wrong channel. Exactly.
Oh no.
Expectations. Have you noticed we've got a bit of a rainbow going on with the icons? It's a nice visual color.
I did notice that. Yeah, it's good.
Well, like Oreos. Brilliant. Works on so many levels.
Oh no.
Is that you in ruin of the cream in the center of the sandwich, right?
Oh, nice.
Visually stunning, I would like to call it, as they say about my movie.
Demon Scythe, Swap Shop, Noel Edmonds, artist, writer, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, etc., etc. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm still calming down from a run. I got back and found out you were going live and panicked, and now I'm suitably calm. Thank you very much. And I'm just a bit starstruck to speak to the King Round-Headed Man Baby himself.
I forgot to add open brackets, the Running Man, close brackets. So you're good, yes?
Good movie. I like that. I like that comparison, sir. Yes, very good.
Yeah, it's getting remade apparently. Yes. So
is it safe?
Sacrilege.
Is it safe?
I don't know. They probably need a lot of steroids for it. So we'd just like to say hello to everybody in the chat. It was apologies. It was kind of a last minute. Let's go on air and talk about what's going on. But I'm sure a lot of you will be watching this on catch up. So if you like the show, all we ask you to do, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Just
leave a comment.
Leave a comment, do a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the bell. You know the routine. Just need to get the we're a new channel, so we just need to get the watched hours up a little bit. So yeah, we just need to kind of get the algorithm going for YouTube. So you probably know more about it than I. So if you could do that, that'd be absolutely wonderful.
Hello to Kathleen Kennedy.
Talk about
Kathleen's
talk
in.
about how to kill a stream before it's got going. Cheers, boys.
Coffee, Kathleen, coffee.
Hello, hey, Coffee. Where's my goddamn trilogy? Been waiting 4 years.
I'll just say hail to Sklavko, one of our regulars who's been with us from from basically the first minute. So yes, we are on volume 69, ironically. So there you go. So big day today. The Shill Wars 2021 was announced, and
Campier.
Ruin the Man Baby is the man responsible for it. So I will ask Ruin, where did your involvement with Star Wars begin? At the very beginning. So we'll go back before we get to the fun stuff. So
I'm guessing something to do with The Last Jedi was a spark in this.
Well, look, I'm taking the mask off if you guys don't mind, because the Ruin voice becomes taxing after a while.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
But look, yeah, this all started with The Last Jedi, and
no, may I just say when the very first experience of Star Wars? When did you fall in love?
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay, yeah, cool.
We'll do the backstory, and then we'll get to this stuff. Yeah.
Nice, we'll build to it. Okay, so I was born the year Star Wars came out, the very first one. So I kind of grew up with Star Wars. Yep, that's the one. Right. So obviously,
he's a baby.
Didn't go to the cinema, but I did watch these. In the kind of mid-80s
on the old VHS days.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and so I grew up with this stuff, obviously, and the prequels, kind of when I was at sort of late teens, uni age. So it's always been in my life. Star Wars, big fan, and then obviously Disney come along and bought out, and I was actually quite positive. I know with hindsight we can all say, George shouldn't have sold, but at the time I thought, this is probably a good place for it to go. They didn't know much about Disney at the time, but they've done a lot of good stuff, and they've got a huge budget to throw at it. So I thought, why not? Force Awakens, I know it's got its problems. At the time, I was okay with Force Awakens. I thought, okay, it's a start. It's bringing back some of the old characters, introducing Luke at the end. I was so bloody excited. And then we get to The Last Jedi. That's where it all went downhill.
And that's where you were born.
That's where I was born. Ruin Johnson, ruin the man, baby. So yeah, we were chatting, me and Brian, just before we started, and really where this came from is, rather than me get really angry about The Last Jedi, I know there was lots of videos at the time from other YouTubers, really venting spleen about The Last Jedi. I just thought, you know what, rather than do that, I'm just going to have some fun with it. So I created this daft Rian Johnson parody account, called it Ruin Johnson, which is hello, Kathy in the chat there. This silly little pun, the little avatar with the glowing red eyes, and started tweeting and just from pure comedy and having a bit of fun with it, just grew the account, and it kind of just took off, and then that led me to Shill Wars, because we had this divide in the fandom between the people who didn't like what Disney were doing, and particularly The Last Jedi, and then those who just thought it was the movie masterpiece, the greatest film ever made, and if you don't understand it, you're an imbecile. So that's what led me to doing the notorious Twitter tournament known as Shill Wars, which is now in its third year. Yeah.
Wow.
Genius idea, sir.
So going back to the original Star Wars, favorite film out of the first three? Because we'll get some background to you, and then we'll get into
Brown gets heavy from the off.
Because as much as I rip the shit out of Rian Johnson Disney Star Wars, I am a fan of Star Wars, particularly the Lucas stuff. So my favorite is not the obvious. It's not Empire, actually. It's Return of the Jedi, and I know that's not everyone's choice, but
what is mine?
Controversial.
Yeah, I just love that one as a kid. You know, I loved everything about it. I know the opening kind of third, the whole Jabba's palace and that whole sort of side quest thing, and then the Endor stuff, the speeder bike. Yeah, I just love that movie. You know, and it just felt really, really great, really final. Ironically, really, because it wasn't you know, according to Disney canon, it's not final, but yeah, just the way it ended, and you know, with Vader and Luke and the celebrations, everything. Wow, that chills.
I would say, without knowing at the time, technically it was final for the original cast, wasn't it? But we didn't know at the time.
Yeah, that's true, and you know, and a lot of us now would just consider it final, and anything else is Disney canon, or you know, whatever people want to call it. But
because you would have been about 7 when that was out.
Yeah, so maybe like I say, I can look back now and say, oh yeah, Empire is technically superior, and you know, The New Hope, Star Wars was the original, but for me, it's you've got to, you know, that was the one that emotionally pulled me in at that age, and I was the perfect age for it. Got all the toys that Christmas, so yeah,
it's looking at it through those eyes of a child, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
And I think a lot of people kind of, I would say maybe a lot of people who are maybe of my age who were disappointed with Return of the Jedi because we just thought it was a bit not quite. You know, how could you follow Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah,
because maybe we had maybe we had the maturity to kind of even at that age figure out what was kind of going on, and I can see why somebody of your age would like Return of the Jedi because it's got everything you would want.
Oh yeah,
fun.
I loved all of them.
Yeah,
I loved all of that. That original trilogy is near perfection for me, and I know it's not for some. And there's people talk about some of Lucas's, you know, lines and things like that, and some of the little gaffes. But you know, these were made in the late 70s, early 80s, and I just think. Awesome films, but yeah, it was Jedi for me. Return.
Yeah, we always say that if something is made with its heart in the right place, straight away that's kind of a leap of faith for the audience.
Got to have that passion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Would you agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I would. And the example I'd use if we're talking Disney movies is maybe Rogue One. You know, again, not some people won't have anything to do with the Disney stuff, but I thought Rogue One was a decent film. You know, again, not perfect, but I thought that its heart was in the right place. You know, they were trying to do something a little bit different. I think there's probably another edit which exists, which is a little bit grittier and even better actually. But but what we got I thought was great. You know, it wasn't perfect.
It was not bad too either. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had the balls to kill all the characters off. You know, that was pretty unheard of. I'm a sucker for the Vader hallway scene. Again, people will criticize it, but when that came on the big screen, I was just out my seat. That was amazing.
So Cockney,
hello.
Original Star Wars. Which is your favorite?
That's a hard one. That's how you just you can't separate them. In fact, that's great. You've just resold Return of the Jedi. It's more like between, you know, Star Wars was like the perfect film, and then Empire, if anything, was better. But then it's just different. It's already, you can't compare them, even though they're both Star Wars films. And in some ways, Jedi has aged the least well, but could have just gone a bit more dramatic.
Amazing special effects.
Yeah, but everything's gone darker these days. So yeah, it is what it is. Can't turn back time. And basically, it just goes to show, we're all disappointed with the original trilogy, and that looks like a freaking masterpiece compared to, of course, as Swap Shop calls it, the sequel tragedy. So it just, I think one thing for Lucas, if he's a bit sad about the way things have gone, he's gone, well, not that easy, is it, you fuckers? So good for George, basically.
We don't mince words on here.
I mean, I'd like to see another THX 1138. I really like that one. You know, it's a bit bleak, but then he actually did do a remastered version with better special effects. So again, get the young ones in there. And you're good in here, Vivian, aren't you? Hello, got your Turkish delight. Oh, why is everything so bright? Turn the lights off, Neil. Oh, hey man, heavy trip. But anyway, that's just a phase I'm going through. But so yeah, Empire, Star Wars, and Jedi, not necessarily in that order. I hope that's a concise answer to your question.
What about you, Matt? Which is your favourite?
I'm totally with Ruin on this one. I saw the first one when I was 4 or 5 in the cinema, when it was first released in the UK, and then I completely missed Empire Strikes Back because my parents were too busy to take me to go and see it. So it just stopped being shown at the cinema. So I had to basically read the books and the comics and go from word of mouth from whatever all the other kids have said from the cinema, you know. And it was gutting, but I kind of enjoyed it almost more. It achieved this mythical status of this film that I may never see in my life, you know, because it was kind of always out of reach for me. And I had to wait until VHS was around before I could actually ever see it. But the thing is, I knew everything about Empire Strikes Back before I watched it because I'd read everything and I'd explored everything, and everything was sport for me anyway. But when Return of the Jedi was released, it was kind of like my little bit of payback, really, to go and see another Star Wars movie in the cinema, because everyone else had always said about how great Empire was in the cinema, blah blah blah, and I was always jealous. And then when Return of the Jedi was released, I watched it and just thought, yes, you bitches, I'm going to bloody see Star Wars again in the cinema, and you can do nothing about it. And it was on my birthday as well, which is amazing, on May the 25th, and I was just glowing, you know. And I'd been reading the first 3 or 4 Return of the Jedi UK weekly comics up to that point, so I was really, really super excited for it. And I knew how the start of the movie played out and everything, but it didn't spoil anything for me. I still wanted to know everything about this movie as I could, you know. Nothing could spoil it. Even if I'd read everything before I saw the film, I still would have gone in and loved every second of it. And I went in, sat down and watched it, and I was kind of recognizing bits from the comics, which was just a joy in itself to see the things that I'd read about actually on screen, you know. And then it got to a certain point just beyond the Jabba's palace bit, and it was all new from that point, and I was just utterly transfixed. And everything in this movie took everything. It took everything that was so great from Empire Strikes Back for me, and amplified it 1,000-fold. And it was just, it was exasperated because of the fact that there was all this new hardware in there. There was the speeder bikes. There were new aliens we'd never seen before.
I did like the speeder bikes.
It was Luke in his prime. You know, there was Han and Leia on the ground in a ground battle. There were all the new rebel outfits. There were new stormtrooper variants. There was the new Scout Walkers. There were teddy bears. Who doesn't love teddy bears, especially in Star Wars? There was a massive fuck-off space battle going on. There was all this stuff that threw everything at this final movie. And a lot of people say, it was derivative. It's just a replay of what came before. Is Lucas going a bit all Muppety on everything? It's did not matter in the slightest. The pros far outweigh the cons with this film. And it was just the best conclusion I could have ever hoped for the trilogy. And I still, as an adult now, I mean, it might be always looking at it through rose-tinted spectacles as a child, but even as an adult now, I honestly cannot fault that film. Even though you could say, it would have been better with Wookiees in it and stuff. You know, no. It takes away the element of the weak overcoming the strong. These unassuming little, you know, bears that live in a forest on their own, overcoming this massive monster of an empire that's sort of encroached on their territory. There's a lot of allegories going on, and
I think it likes it, everybody.
It blew me away in every respect, and I was rabid. After watching this film, I was rabid for stuff. I had all of the toys, I had all of the comics, the clothes, the underpants, no, I didn't have condoms. I had bedspread, you name it. Everything that had Return of the Jedi written on it, Peach Melba, Jabba the Hutt yogurt. I had everything, right? And honestly, I was every day of my life when I got up, I was buzzing because I'd seen this film, right? There was the shitty little school life. There was kids in the neighborhood who bullied kids and all this other crap that was going on. None of it. It was just eclipsed by the joy that this film brought me. And for years and years and years afterwards, well into secondary school, I was still buzzing off this film, right? And right up to the point when, you know, it faded off a bit, and then the expanded universe books came in and it kind of rekindled that flame a little bit. And then the special edition videos came out, and it was just all over again. I was just crazy about it. And it was the focal point of the original trilogy will always be Return of the Jedi for me. So I'm in a convoluted roundabout way. I agree with Ruin.
Bravo.
Follow that, Ruin.
Well, I'd just like to answer PD Rich in the chat. He's asked, how long do you think KK's got until Bob takes her to the glue factory? Well, I'll have you know, there's an agreement made. We're going to cryogenically freeze Kathleen's head, and in another 40 years, we'll resurrect her for the next trilogy. So there we go. Good luck with that.
Oh my god! I'm going to end it now.
Coffee for Mr. Roundhead. Coffee for Mr. Roundhead.
So that was Return of Jedi was 1984? Or was it 3? 83. So we had a little bit of a Star Wars wilderness for a while, didn't we, Ruin, after that?
Yeah. Not until around about the time I think I was at uni was when the prequels came out. So different stage in my life. But I'll look, cards on the table. I wasn't as keen when the prequels came out. I think part of the reason for that is I don't know if you guys remember they relaunched the originals, like kind of remastered originals at the cinema. Yeah, and I went to see those, and again, absolutely, loved it. I mean, okay, I know some of the stuff George put in, maybe not. I remember the kind of Jabba scene in the original.
I didn't like that.
It didn't work as well. But it reminded me how much I love the originals, and I didn't get to see them at the cinema first time around. And then the prequels came, and didn't blow me away, if I'm honest. But I look after the absolute shower of shit we've got with Disney, then I can look back on them a lot more fondly. And actually, Attack of the Clones gets a lot of hate. I don't mind Attack of the Clones. I think it's a good fun film. I love the the arena stuff, the massive battle with all the Jedi, and there's things to love about the originals. So the prequels, I get so much hate.
I think Attack of the Clones because it's got that Blade Runner-esque cityscape. So it's the least shite one out of the first 3.
We kind of recently have said on the channel that especially with what went on with the Mandalorian, with Luke Skywalker popping up, we think George Lucas missed the biggest opportunity in cinema by not continuing the original story.
Yeah. 100%.
How many billions of dollars have been not spent because of going down the prequel route?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, I just wish I think he'd probably learn a few things from doing the prequels, and I know he got a bit of stick for it and everything else, but oh God, what we'd give to have George write the sequels, instead of the kind of hot potato.
Please, George, please.
So we had JJ coming up with something, then Rian Johnson doing something completely separate.
You think he regrets it?
I do, because I don't know whether he thought I don't have the energy to do this, or I don't know, but I'm sure he does. I'm sure he think. Well, we know that he had outlines.
It's the one that got away, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had outlines which he gave to them, and I think he thought they were going to use them, and they didn't. They just chucked them out the window and said, "No, we're bringing in some guys who are going to do it all from scratch."
It was like the lightsaber, wasn't it? When Daisy Ridley gave Luke the lightsaber.
Good allegory. Yeah.
Hey, not bad, was it? And he just threw it away over the cliff.
Tossed it over his goddamn shoulder. Yeah. So I think, for all the problems at the prequels, and, some people love them, some people less so, but God, we'd take him any day of the week over this rubbish we've had from Disney.
I don't know about you. I don't think I would go out of my way to watch them. Yes,
I'd watch him. I watch him if they come on TV happily. You know what I mean? Not with the enthusiasm of the originals, but yeah, I'd watch them. But I can't bring myself to watch Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, and Force Awakens for that matter. As much as I thought it was fine at the time, but now we know what comes after it. So what's the point?
Cockney, what do you think about the prequels? Would you go out your way to watch them, or?
To be fair to Rian Johnson, I saw Last Jedi at least twice in the cinema, and then I bought the Blu-ray. I think I've watched it 5 times. And unlike Blade Runner 2049, it didn't get better; it gets worse. But it's it is so bad it's good. And check your local region for applicable laws. But I basically tripping balls is the way to go. and best way to enjoy it. That's just me. But yeah, Last Jedi. Quite frankly, if you're out there, Ryan Ruin, I don't know who the parody is and who the reality is, but yeah, rewatch value. It's so bad, it's good. Even the extras. I'll tell you. Yeah. So well done, Rian Johnson. I rewatched it. It's like watching a car crash. Amazing stuff. The JJ ones, not so much. But then again, they're so bad. I probably will. Yeah, I think I do. You know what? Yeah, I'm big controversial. I'd like to rewatch the entire Disney tragedy, copyright swap shop, because it's actually so bad, it's good.
Matt, how are you invested with the prequels?
I am now, after what Disney have given us for the last few years. Yeah. For years and years, I was kind of very anti them, and they kind of didn't exist to me at all. I just sort of looked at them as like a you can enjoy them if you like kind of thing. They're not really essential. You don't really need have them to make any sense to the original stories. But I got them all on DVD. I still got a lot of the toys and things like that from them. Not as many as I probably would have if I loved them. But yeah, got the DVDs and stuff. Watched all of those. Watched Clone Wars because of it. Clone Wars made them a lot better, I think. Yeah. And in hindsight, after watching I was really excited Force Awakens came out, because I thought, we're returning to sort of the aesthetic of the original trilogy here, and that kind of sensibility of the swashbuckling and the kind of the space western. But of course, that didn't quite turn out that way. It was all of a big dupe from the trailers and what they showed us before we actually sat down and saw the movies. But in hindsight, I think I would, if I got the 3 DVDs out now and watched them, I think I'd look on them a lot more favorably, even with all the bad writing and not necessarily great acting and stuff. I think I'd be a lot more favorable towards them. I
would say, going back with what I said earlier, maybe the prequels, the heart was in the right place, and maybe that's probably why it's I'd probably say it scores. Would you say, Ruin, maybe an extra 1 or 2 points just for that?
Yeah, I do. It's Lucas, and it's I was a big fan of a lot of the CGI, the stuff they did with it, like you say, some of the writing, some of the lines and delivery. But at its core, the story is still solid. And we can relate to that story. It follows Anakin, and we know where it's headed to. And look, there's the final in that prequel trilogy is thought of quite highly. Actually, some people even put it above Return of the Jedi.
Wow.
But I mean, obviously I wouldn't. But yeah, so I do think it's all to the right place. I think it's Lucas, and I just wish he'd had the foresight to hold fire, not sell out to the mouse, and I wish we had a Lucas story that we were able to talk about, and then maybe we wouldn't have this massive divide in the fandom, and Rian Johnson wouldn't exist even,
and you wouldn't be on this channel. Yes. Yeah, as we said, obviously the prequels finished. When did they finish? Was it 2005?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I remember watching the last one, and it was
First
the European.
One was 99.
Yeah, and it was the European Cup final with Liverpool. When they won it in Turkey. I remember that. So, so between then and the Disney stuff, there was it the Clone Wars and was it Star Wars Rebels and stuff? Kind of a few kind of animations floating about, and then. Lucas, I think he decided that he wasn't going to do anything with it anymore. Is that correct? And that's where the kind of Disney stuff started to happen. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's kind of a dark period, wasn't there, where there was really not a lot other than the EU. A lot of the books and comics and so on that were out there in the EU. So I mean, I don't know about the other guys. I certainly didn't expect another Star Wars movie. At all, really. So really surprised when those rumors came about Disney buying it. I agree with Yahtzee in the chat there that it would have been a lot better, the prequels, if they used practical effects. I think the CGI definitely killed me.
I was going to say, I think sorry, Ruin, I think where the original trilogy had the advantage was the technicians, the British technicians. The guys who had just come off doing Space 1999 and doing all that type of stuff, like Rian Johnson and all those guys. So I think that's where, I think that's where the original trilogy had the advantage, because they weren't relying too much on CGI, which I think the prequels, and looking back now, it doesn't even, compared to today's standards,
doesn't hold up.
It's a little bit iffy in places. And when you look at the special edition of the original Star Wars with, as you said earlier, Jabba the Hutt, just doesn't look right, does it?
The thing is, which George really, it's a shame he didn't realize it, but whenever you use practical effects, I'm thinking of real old films like Ben-Hur or Zulu. They actually age really well because it's tangible. It's actually people in costume and real landscapes and everything else. As soon as you use CGI, technology is always changing, and it just dates really quickly.
To that day it was produced, yes.
Yeah, and that for me is one of the big problems. He just so heavily went into CGI and green screen, and it feels quite dated.
So, as we said, Lucas, yes, was it $4 billion?
4.05 billion, half of it in shares. Apparently.
Wow. Not that he probably needed the money.
Weren't shy about the quid.
I honestly don't know why he just did not hire somebody to produce some films for him.
That's what I was thinking. I always thought that was crazy. The fact that he didn't understand. He could have easily employed someone to come in and run the project for him while he was kind of an executive producer, and he was kind of had final say on things. There's no reason to just sell out to Disney. He could have just kept things going.
Get the original cast in, and I don't know about you, Ruin. For me, that's a banker.
Yeah, I mean, look, the single biggest mistake of the sequels, the Disney movies, is the failure to put the original three characters on the screen together. How can you not do that? Give just what you see the reaction to a CGI Luke in the Mandalorian. We just there's not much. There's actually not much we ask for as a fan base. It doesn't take a lot to excite us and rally us. But the failure to do that was pretty catastrophic, actually. And JJ's got to take some of that. He killed off Han. Maybe I've got a feeling. I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I've got a feeling probably Harrison Ford. Maybe a stipulation for coming back was that he would only do if he killed him off.
Miserable bastard.
And he wants to be killed off in Empire, so I'm sure that was part of it. But look, that's on JJ and obviously Rian Johnson, and systematically they just one by one killed and mocked and destroyed.
Were you was you pumped for The Force Awakens? Was you like, yes, here we go?
I was, and I can say that without embarrassment. Like I say, we know it's all panned out.
We all were, yeah.
But I was. This was a chance to go back into a cinema, see a Star Wars movie. I went to an IMAX in Manchester. I sat there with however many hundred other people.
And the
Lucasfilm logo comes on, the drums come on. Oh my God, the hairs on my arm. It was incredible, and I was probably. I left the cinema probably on such a high and probably overlooked a lot of the problems at Force Awakens just because I was on this massive high. I was pumped for it, and I was fine for it, and I was ready for the follow-up big time. I thought, wow, we're going to see Luke. He looks awesome. He's got these robes. He's got this huge beard.
Yep.
It's going to be so good.
He's got the lightsaber. He's holding the lightsaber.
Oh, yes. Yes, the lightsaber. So, as I said,
tossed it off.
Cockney, you was pumped for Force Awakens?
Well, do you know, it's trying to be honest about my memories. I was pumped for Force Awakens. I think immediately I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Did not appreciate the Han kill off. And yeah, absolutely, as discussed, the Euro 96 of movies, the greatest missed opportunity.
Yeah, Paul Gascoigne, 2 inches away
from glory. They had them in the same film, but not on screen at the time.
That's our analogy, Ruin. We decided that Force Awakens was, when Gaza was 2 inches away from.
Of course, yeah.
That's the Force Awakens, mate.
Any American viewers will be completely lost on this analogy. But I totally understand.
Would you totally agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Euro and 96.
Yeah, they're so close to greatness, but no, it was such a bad decision. When they originally sat down and said, right, what we're going to do with these movies, that should have been number one, top of the sketch pad, first idea on the board. Right, we need Han, Leia, and Luke, together at some point. Even if it's just a single scene, but to have not done that's absolutely
how can that not have been a priority? How can you sell the film on so much nostalgia and plug the original trilogy to promote this new movie and not have the original characters back together for just at least one scene? It's just beggars belief what they're thinking.
According to Doomcock, there is Hail Doomcock. According to Doomcock, there is. There is footage of them together on green screen. I don't know if that's true.
That's just rubbing it in there, isn't it? That's just trolling. They shot the whole scene. They thought, nah, the kids won't want to see that. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Ray, can you just get the jaw open a bit wider? That's it, Ray. Okay, good. All right.
If that is true, then I don't know about you guys. I just think it's an even bigger shame that we didn't see them.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the reason why Ruin's film was just so popular in the first couple of weeks, and then there was a massive drop off, obviously, because everyone got the word on it. But it was so popular because of the massive cliffhanger everyone had been hanging on for 2 years. And then everyone just wanted to see this film, no matter what the rumors were, no matter what the trailer was like.
Ruin comes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I was so just before we move on to Ruin's film. So Force Awakens, in a sentence, Matt, how did you feel about Force Awakens?
12 years, no parole.
I was just like everyone else, I was riding this tidal wave of nostalgic hype that they were pushing for the marketing for this film, and especially in the trailer as well. My God, they were pushing the original John Williams score for it, and the sweeping shots of the Falcon and the desert planet, and
everything was there.
Yeah, it was clear what they were trying to do, and even though the movie didn't have Luke on it, you looked at the poster and you thought, okay, well, Luke's not on it, but I think they probably just don't want to show us certain things yet.
How did you feel coming out of the cinema?
I wasn't as buzzing as I was before I went in, put it that way. I came out sort of enjoying the spectacle, but I knew something wasn't quite right with it, and I couldn't quite put my finger on what. It was only when I actually watched it again on DVD that things started to dawn on me. But then I still forgave the film anyway for its shortcomings, because I just thought, well, obviously this is part of a trilogy. They've planned this as part of a trilogy, so we can't really hold too much against it. Obviously, part 8 is going to be the thing that has a lot of payoffs in it as far as what they set up in this film. So again, like I said, everyone was kind of again on the hype train for the next film because of the end of the first film. So everyone was super excited before the first film. A lot of people were satisfied. A lot of people were kind of sort of in stasis about it. They were in limbo, and they thought, right, we'll just wait for The Last Jedi to come out, or Episode 8 as it was back then. And when it actually landed, people were so ready to have all their questions answered and to be satiated. It was just all the more of a letdown for everybody, I think.
Cockney, your thoughts about
what's Luke going to do with that lightsaber? What's he going to do with it? I can't wait.
Yes. I can't wait. This next 2 years is not going to come fast enough.
He looks so serious. Oh dear. Yeah. No. Well, like I say, maybe it helped being tripping balls at the time, but one of the fourth time, I believe, maybe the third that I watched Last Jedi. There's just a bit this unintentionally meta where basically Rey is knocking on Luke's hut, and basically it's like Disney knocking on George Lucas's door. Hello, Star Wars. Anybody there? Woo! Hello, the real Star Wars.
Obviously not.
Hello, Disney at your door. Yeah, obviously not. Real Star Wars not home.
Yeah.
Basically, but yeah, hence the meta enjoyment of enjoying it. Ironically,
Ruin, how did you feel coming out of Force Awakens?
Yes, I was, I have to be honest, I was just riding that wave of nostalgia and a high that we finally had Star Wars back, and it did take a little time before I probably when I rewatched it when it was put onto Sky Movies, and then given that little bit of time, you kind of go, oh, they really did another Death Star, another bigger Death Star, and and some of the flaws, and it kind of it took the shine off a little. But I was at that point, I'd not given up on Disney. I was. Yeah,
it was a soft
ready
reboot, technically, wasn't it? It was a soft reboot.
Well, people have said that, yeah.
It was very, very lazy, I thought, the storytelling.
I think their excuse for that was, oh, no, it's poetry, it rhymes.
Oh, nice. He set that one up, didn't he? I think they were so concerned with I think they went in thinking, right, they didn't like 1, 2, and 3, so we've got to make it more like 4, 5, and 6. I think that in hindsight, we're almost forgetting that we all didn't like 1, 2, and 3. So I set that one up, didn't we? Didn't. No.
I don't know about you guys, but when Daisy started walking up that hill, up those stairs, and then we saw Luke Skywalker, we thought, yes, here we go. Then it ended.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? What happened there?
That was like, yeah, but I thought that though, because I was thinking, okay, no, don't write it off yet. We've got an entire movie to go. I quite enjoyed Looper, and that episode of Breaking Bad wasn't too bad. Let's give Rian Johnson a little bit of a chance here. And it was like as the film just progressed further and further, I was just thinking my heart was just sinking that little bit more. But when it got into like the last third of the film, I thought we're not going to get this turnaround that I was expecting. We're really not. He's really going to tank this story, and he unfortunately did. You're right, and it was just it. But for a lot of people, it was that lightsaber scene that tanked it.
Oh, so many. So many awful moments.
Matt, you did understand what I just said then. It was the Force Awakens, where at the end, we see Luke Skywalker for that brief second.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck, it's over.
Oh, you mean there was no dialogue or exposition or anything after that point? Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And they lingered on it for so long as well, didn't they? They lingered on it for like a minute, and there was no dialogue. And it was kind of like you idiots coming into the cinema to see Luke Skywalker. We have that in the bollocks, It's like, oh no, I can't. Okay, fair enough. We're just gonna have to wait for the next film,
Do you think the warning signs were there at that point?
They were definitely. The writing was on the wall, definitely, but most of us just chose not to read it, I think.
I was going to say, do you think this is where this guy comes in, where Rian Johnson came in and subverted? You're a little bastard, aren't you?
You ruined it all.
You subverted all our expectations.
Expectations subverted. Well, listen, we've been doing Right Club for 2.5 weeks now. What is the number one? It's only number one rule that we've come up with Right Club, and it's simply this. Don't let Rian Johnson write the middle part of your trilogy. That is literally the one takeaway we've got from Right Club.
This is in the chat. This is for you, Ruin. You are in presence of greatness. There you go. We'll just leave it at that.
Wow. Well, thank you, Cruel Barab, you man baby. It's good to see you join us.
No,
and I have to say,
it's talking about me, mate, not you.
Oh well, god damn it! That's just subverted my own expectations.
We are. Yes. Boom. Have that. You don't like it now, do you? When it happens to you, you've had your.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, take that, Ruin.
And shout out to Brian Young in the chat.
Yes.
Oh, Death Star on the Force Awakens was the first warning sign. Yes, indeed. So Brian, for those of you who haven't already noticed, Brian was part of our Shill Wars tournament, and the two-time previous winner, reigning champion, dumped out in the first round this year by Freddie Prinze Jr. But
that's a badge of honor in itself. Then, obviously,
how can he not lose out to Freddie Prinze Jr. with that avatar though?
Obviously, Brian's in with the joke. Yes,
Brian is a parody account of Brian Young. This is how far we've gone with the parody.
Hail Brian.
Not only have we got a parody of Rian Johnson, we've got a parody of Brian Young, who's a small-time Star Wars YouTuber,
professional shill. Yeah.
But there's a whole story around Brian Young. I can share it with you if you like.
Go
ahead.
Well, look, when I first started this whole shtick as Rian Johnson, and I did the first Shill Wars, this is what really kicked it all off, because it makes people absolutely crazy on Twitter, because all I'm doing with the Rian Johnson thing is just having a bit of fun. Rather than me get angry about The Last Jedi and how it didn't pan out, I thought, I'm just going to have a bit of fun with this.
Are you
and I think
angry with your writing, or
angry with my own terrible script writing?
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Just all I ever tried to do with the Ruin the Man Baby, sort of speaking myself in the third person, if you will, is just have a bit of fun with it. Just take the piss a little bit and keep it lighthearted. And but obviously, when I did Shill Wars, it was there he is. When I did Shill Wars, it was basically calling out the people who put Rian Johnson on this godlike status, who would hear no criticism, as Rian Johnson himself doesn't hear any criticism of his movie, and they would throw absolute tantrums for anyone who had any problem.
Sorry, Ruin, just for the people at home and people who are stupid like me, what is a shill?
Shill is someone who, how can we best put it? Someone who will basically just applaud Disney to the nth degree. They will have no ill words said. They will, sell their own mother in order to ensure Disney does as well as possible. So they're just people who are so ridiculously favourable for Disney Star Wars that they'll do anything.
A modern day brown noser.
Exactly. Well, in fact, it's called the Brown Nose Awards. That's what you win for Shill Wars. So it's exactly that. Brown nose, as we call them here in the UK. But the story around Brian Young. So when I first launched Shill Wars on Twitter, Brian Young was one of these ones who he's every other tweet's a tweet at Rian Johnson telling him how great he is. So obviously, made a little bit of fun about that, and Rian Johnson was loving it. By the way, Rian Johnson would respond to him. This guy Brian Young, it gave him more excited, and it was
excellent.
It was ridiculous. So obviously, along with many others, I made a bit of fun of this and said, right, let's get all these shills in a tournament. You can all vote and say who's the biggest shill, and Brian wins it. Lo and behold, Brian then gets so upset that first of all he does some internet detective work. He discovers my true identity. So obviously I was just tweeting anonymously as Ruin the Man Baby, and he managed to work out who I actually was, and then he actually got in touch with one of my employers. And so he tried to dox me. Obviously he caused no real harm, because at the end of the day I'm having a bit of fun with a parody account. But my response to that was to actually dox myself. I think one of my very first YouTube video, I went on with the Ruin mask, and then I took it off and I said, look, here I am, I'm doing this, it's a bit of fun. If you don't like it, fine, but you're not going to dox
me. So that gave you the advantage back then, didn't it?
Yeah, it takes the power away, because I think, this is what they try and do. They try and cancel people. They try and shut people down. They're trying to do it at the moment, trying to get my accounts closed down. And that's what they try and do. So the way to counter that is just say, look, you don't scare me. I'm gonna do what I do, and yeah, if you don't like it, tough, suck it up.
They can't cancel you down. You're not harassing anybody.
Exactly.
I don't understand that. How can they do that? I don't
If they
understand.
strike you down, you will only become more powerful.
That is it.
Nice.
If they do somehow get rid of me on Twitter, I'll come back as Force Ghost Rian Johnson.
You heard it first, everybody. Force Ghost Rian Johnson. Excellent.
Oh, so good.
Just be more powerful.
You cannot win, Disney.
You strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly.
But you're absolutely right. Look, the fact is, unbelievably, maybe I've never been suspended on Twitter as Ruin the Man Baby because I've never said anything offensive. I've never been personally offensive to anyone. I know some of them like to think that, but I have a bit of fun. It's a parody account. It's satire. And I do some comedy videos which I put on YouTube. I do things like this Shill Wars where people vote. It's all a bit of fun.
You're enjoying it, yes?
Yeah, that's all it is. And people, you see, I get sent screenshots of people because they've all got me blocked, obviously. But they'll say,
nice.
I keep reporting this guy. Why has Twitter not banned him? But they've not banned me because I'm not breaking any rules.
Yeah, right.
Ironically, Star Wars Explained has broken a couple of different Twitter terms of service because just recently they encouraged everyone to mass report me, which is in itself targeted harassment.
I don't know if I can be bothered. What is wrong with these people?
It is funny how worked up they all get about a daft parody account.
That just adds more. That just adds more fuel to the fire. Though, it just makes it all the greater, I think. And they're just highlighting themselves more as shills by doing it, which just bolsters the Shill Wars tournament.
I've just put in the chat Force Ghost Rian Johnson, and then Wonder Chris replies, "You'll get more powerful than ever."
Exactly.
It's true.
I just want to say,
got the backup account ready.
Yeah, you should do. Yeah, I just want to say to Ruin though, because I go running every other day, and when you were doing the Fandom Menace show, you're having the guests. Oh my god, I just loved it so much, man. I've really missed that. I've really genuinely missed that. And being on Mr. Brown's channel every so often and listening to these guys chat, they're all geniuses, all of them. Absolutely love these guys. And they've kind of become a replacement. They've become a replacement for the Fandom Menace show. And I'm just still clinging on to hope that one day you'll bring it back, please.
I will try and do that. I did a very short run series of podcasts where I interviewed various people from within the Star Wars fandom, and we had like the likes of Chewbacca on, which Demon will know, and quite popular within our part of the fandom, and various other people, and it was it was good fun, and it was really what was really interesting about it is the other side of the fandom keeps banging on about things like diversity and this and that and the other. But you look at this Shill Wars bracket, and they're actually not a very diverse bunch at all. but the people I had on my podcast we had people from all around the globe. We had
Stephanie Kenobi,
we had people interviewing them from Holland, from everywhere, obviously America, the UK, and it was great. Just all these different people, different backgrounds, purely by chance, not by design, and it just made me realize, we're not on the wrong side of this. We get called everything by everyone, including Rian Johnson himself, but we're not on the wrong side of this. And the Gina Carano thing, and I don't want to divert into it, but we can't not mention it. That for me is just exposed
stupid.
Exactly what's going on. Yeah.
I will say, Ruin, you are more than welcome to come on the channel anytime if you want to, just pop on. And we're just looking for people to come on and just.
We'll make.
As I said to him, we'll make you famous, mate. As I said, it's my channel. So it's my channel in name only. We have regulars in the chat and the guys who are in the panel. It's just. It's just a channel where we've all got a common love for, geekery and, what's going on and stuff. So,
right, Club.
We'd be honoured for you to come on anytime you want, my friend.
Thank you.
Mr. Ruin is a very accomplished writer as well, as far as I'm aware. So I think Right Club's definitely something that he'd be a great asset to as well.
Courtney does a kind of like a writing stream, so I'm sure that you'd like that type of thing with him. So yeah, because I am not a writer. I'm more of a artist. You've got music, that graphic designer, etc., etc.
You've got that shopping list trilogy that
I have got a shopping list trilogy to do. So yeah, I'll do that at some point. So we'll get back to the Last Jedi. So
the last
all comes back to the Last Jedi.
It does. All these streams always come back to the Last Jedi. It always does. We should get a T-shirt saying it always comes back to the Last Jedi.
There we go. Yeah.
We have to circle back to that.
I don't know how to ask the next question. To be honest, do I ask Ruin how he felt after viewing, or where did the writing for him? Where did the writing go wrong for the film? So,
oh my word, have we got another 4 hours?
I think what we'll do is we'll kind of just for the next 10 minutes we'll do a little bit of the kind of backgroundy stuff, and then we'll do the Shill Wars, and we'll go through them up until about 90 minutes. So maybe 5 minutes or so talking about this, and then we'll get on to the Shill Wars. Is that okay?
Let's go crazy.
Sounds good.
So, Last Jedi. Thoughts?
Why?
That's
next question.
Why,
Ruin? Why?
What a question that is. Yeah.
Where did it go wrong? Where did it all go wrong?
Well, I left the cinema confused. I didn't know how to feel about it. In all honesty, I was probably a little bit stunned, and I did, a bit like Spotney said, you kind of, I think a lot of us got duped into thinking we need to watch this multiple times because maybe we missed something here. And I did go back again, and I just couldn't believe what we were seeing. I mean, where did it go wrong? I mean, right out of the bat, we had the most ridiculous space battle with these ridiculous slow bombers, and that and it's, I mean, bombs, you just basically slow moving targets full of bombs, explosive. It's ridiculous. Yeah, then we had the old debate over bombs in space and everything. Yeah, okay, that aside, then we had Poe's stupid dad jokes and BB-8, all these expanding limbs and all that stupidness. Then we have Leia, who's just not the Leia we know. The Leia Poppins was just bizarre. We've got I think the one scene, I'm building up to, but the one scene where I just remember people laughing, but not in a good way, was when he chucked the lightsaber. I think that was the single moment where, despite the dodgy opening, that was when we knew, this is not good. And weirdly, it just got worse after that.
Yeah, I think that's where it finished. Star Wars had finished at that point. Whatever your hopes were of Star Wars went over that cliff face with that lightsaber. Would you agree?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to speak ill of Mark Hamill, but and in fact he's come out and said a lot of negative things. He tries to kind of mask it or hide it, but I know he's got his problems with The Last Jedi. I wish Mark had just been a bit stronger and said, no, like, for example, that particular scene, the comedy where he stomps off having chucked the lightsaber. I just wish he'd said no. This, because if you think about it, what are they going to do if Mark Hamill says, no, this isn't right, I'm not doing this? Yeah. What are they going to do? He's the one person they can't recast or write out of
that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he had the power in that moment. I know there's only so much he could have done maybe, but yeah, it was... Even he must have realized. Well, he said it himself, didn't he? He said, I had to imagine it was a different character because I didn't recognize the character.
Yeah, because he said everything about this, what you've written, is fundamentally wrong. That's what he said. He's been on record for saying that. Cruel Birab says the lightsaber chuck would have been funny as a gag or a blooper. You know when they do the gag reels?
Yeah, it was like an outtake, wasn't it?
Everybody would be like, how funny. Oh, not realising that is Star
Mr.
Wars
Johnson,
going over the
we
face.
put in the wrong take.
On
No,
1 hour, yeah.
Gag reel. We're watching the gag reel, Mr. Johnson. That's fine. Postmodern.
What about you, Cockney? Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah, at the beginning, when it said Star Wars, just straight away, you could tell something was wrong. I've got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, but no, the tossing of the saber, not in a good way, I think, immediately. And I think the earnest expression from Ridley, eyes wider, Ridley, come on, stretch those eyeballs. Ooh. Like
did anybody have a problem with Daisy Ridley?
I don't. Or is she shy?
I didn't have a problem with her at all. I think I had a problem with the character,
I didn't.
not her.
Yeah.
Nice forehead.
So it could have been a good film where
good forehead acting. Nice frown.
Luke teaches Rey, earn the skills.
Tickles her hand with a leaf, and that's her Jedi trait. That's it. Yeah.
If you think about it, the grumpy one should have been Rey. Luke should have been this source of mentor and positivity and and Rey should have been the grumpy one. Got frustrated that she can't acquire all these skills so quickly, but as we know, she does. Yeah. But he did it the wrong way around. I don't know why Luke was written the way he was.
You did it the wrong way around.
I did it. I destroyed Hamill. I destroyed Luke, and with it, the Star Wars fandom. Take that, man, babies.
You've become quite prominent on social media now, or I'm not sure what other accounts you have because mainly I just use Twitter. But you've been quite prominent on Twitter for at least the last 3-4 years. Yeah. Can't really miss you. And when I can remember just after The Last Jedi was out, and I sort of went on.
A big fan.
I went. Does it show really? I went on Twitter just to sort of see who had a like mind out there, and of course you were posting at that time as well. And I was just loving the posts, and it just got funnier and funnier. But you've achieved like such a status now between, among fandom menace people and between a certain sort of mindset of fans.
I think he loves you. He loves you.
Shut up, Brown. The actors in the movies and the people involved in production and everything must know you. They must recognize your account and see your avatar and just know your posts, unless they've got you blocked, which they might have. But you must have achieved that sort of status where occasionally Mark Hamill might sort of dip in and see what you're writing about, but not say anything, of course. How does that make you feel that people out, that level are probably just as we are loving what you're posting?
Yeah, look, I set up as a bit of fun, and like I say, a way to kind of, rather than do angry rants, just have a bit of fun with it. But the way it evolved, people responded to it, and I thought, okay, look, people are getting a kick out of this, so let's run with it. I've actually been DM'd by a well-known Lucasfilm employee. I absolutely cannot reveal who it is.
Not Kathleen, was it?
We know.
Mr. Lucas.
What
would
they
you like
do
your coffee, Ruin? How would you like your coffee, Ruin? No sugars.
No, genuinely, this is someone who said, "Look, I agree, and I love what you're doing here, and I agree with it. And it is a bad environment, and the fact that you're doing this and having fun and everything, I totally agree with it. And he asked me to keep it confidential. And obviously, I have done, and I would always, because of what's happened recently more than ever. Well. But no, if people think it goes too far or it's unnecessarily cruel or anything like that, that's a shame, because it's not intended to be. It's a bit of fun.
You're British, mate. You're British.
Yeah,
it's all part of that. Yeah, it's the British sense of humour, isn't it? You're right. Yeah. I think it's. I just think you're. Exactly. I think it's got to be commended for like making. It's taking something that's obviously negative and flipping it and making it positive. So you're turning something that's annoyed so many people and making it into entertainment, which is great. It's turning a frown upside down.
Yeah, that's all it is, and it has been predominantly Twitter. I did delve into YouTube. I've still got my YouTube channel, but and I did some kind of comedy videos and comedy roasts on there, and and I did the podcast series as well, the Fandom Menace podcast, which I know Demon wants me to resurrect for a season 2. Maybe I'll do that when I get the time.
You could always do a one-off special on here.
What about animation?
I'll do a little bit of
Ruin.
I'll do a little bit of production for it if you want. Make it a bit of an event if you want.
Oh, there we go. We might have an idea here, but look, it's the other thing I want to say, because this is one of the things you see most that makes me laugh. People think I dedicate my life to this Rian Johnson.
He doesn't, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't. I actually spent very little time. I mean, look. I put together these things for Shill Wars, some of these other graphic things, but it's it's
they
not
need to put in more time. YouTube animations. Think of it Terry Gilliam style. That'd be brilliant.
The Shills would like to think I spend every waking moment thinking up and designing things to do for Rian Johnson.
I wish he did. Plan the trilogy. Do a trilogy before he does. Once upon a time, there's a little sausage called Ray.
Chipolata.
Or not.
But no, to go out to your question, Demon. Yeah, I'm pleased anyone gets a kick out of it. I'm amazed it's gone this long, because I didn't expect it to. But the one thing you can guarantee with Rian Johnson, he'll always come out with some stupid shit to reignite the hatred and everything. And he did it recently, didn't he? He came out and said, the trilogy's still happening.
Oh God. I think an amazing stream would be the original and yourself on a stream together. That'd be,
my God. Imagine.
Fucking hell. Can you imagine that? That'd be just incredible.
It will happen.
Let's get it set up. Someone reach out to Rian Johnson.
I am gonna personally reach out to him and say, please.
That could heal the fandom.
If he's out there,
that would be amazing.
The other Ruin, if you're out there, we know you are, mate, then I've got to talk to you about this filming an unreliable narrator bollocks, right? It's not just you, mate. But look, we've got to have it out. I'm not having it. That is, if you want
we need to sort it out.
Film, mate, that is, I'm not, there's no joke here, mate. It's a serious conversation, pal.
It is.
Yeah, the real Sir Ruin of Roundhead. Get yourself on there. That's an honest one filmmaker not doing any work to another. Get yourself on there and let's talk it out. You can't film an unreliable narrator. I'm just saying. It's Reservoir Dogs all over it. Right, that's it. I've said my piece.
Do you think, Ruin, that you would be more than capable of holding the end up, as it were? Against how would you think it would go?
I'd love a conversation.
Quite weird, wouldn't it?
It would be weird, and but I'd love to do that, because look, not the easiest thing in the world, especially on things like Twitter, is it's it gets so nasty so quickly, doesn't it? Because no one's them real selves, and me more than not the nastiness, but I'm I run a parody account, but I'd love to have a conversation like I'm having with you fellas, I think that's what we've never had from Rian Johnson. I think as bad as the film is, what was worse was what came after it. And the fact that if you didn't like the movie, you were told you were a man baby, an arsehole, a racist, a sexist. I think that was way worse than the movie actually even was, as bad as the movie was. And I think that's why it still resonates now, what I do on the parody account, and people get so worked up over Rian Johnson.
Is it 5 years now?
Well, it's 4 in it this year. It was 2017, I think. So right. We're into the 4th year now. So it's
But
it's still going, still going.
It hasn't slowed down, has it? Really, if you think about it, it's just this ball is still rolling.
Well, we have this incredible amount of shills who are calling for his trilogy, which I pray every day they'll make this Rian Johnson trilogy. Yeah. Oh my word!
Me too.
It'll give me material for the next 10 years.
Exactly. Oh, please do.
You better retire and go full time on Twitter.
Well, people have basically made a career out of off the back of the backlash for the episode 8, haven't they? So
yes,
God knows what will happen.
Right
God knows what
now.
will happen after a trilogy by him.
Yeah.
You can imagine it. It just never die.
Please, come on, Disney.
Likes of Geeks and Gamers, they were a fairly modest-sized channel, and definitely off the back of the Last Jedi, they just exploded, and they're getting 200,000 views now, aren't they? They're right up there. So.
I'm up to 69 subscribers.
I will just say to the peeps in the chat, if you're new to the channel, as I said, as Ruin just said, we are tiny. So if you could just possibly go out of your way to like, share, subscribe, click the bell, all the usual stuff.
Fondle the like button so we can grow a little bit.
Exactly. Cup us in your hand and help us grow.
Yeah, we just need to get the numbers up. We don't want to go too massive because we just feel like we would lose the edge. We just want to be kind of
a little bit bigger.
I think we're at a place where we can be a little bit edgy at times without, we're slipping under the radar, as it were. So
under the radar.
So if you could do the usual stuff and just try and get the watch,
leave a comment, get the algorithm going.
Leave a comment, thumbs up.
Watch it on someone else's computer.
Yeah.
Watch it on your mum's computer.
Get all your computers playing the stream at once, so we,
all the way through. Yeah. That's what YouTube likes. All the way through, please. And then
no ads, which is an amazing bonus, isn't it?
Yes. I'm going to ask the question for Matthew. What was your feelings of The Last Jedi?
Ooh.
And then we'll go into the Shill stuff, yes?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could go on forever about it, couldn't you? But in a nutshell, I think I was giving it the benefit of the doubt up till near the end. And then when Jake faded away, my gaze...
Jake, by the way, for the...
It's all to do with Mark Hamill saying in an interview that he had to see the character as Jake Skywalker, not Luke Skywalker, because it's the only way he could get behind the character and actually portray him, because it wasn't Luke.
Right. Okay. Right.
Because he's not optimistic. He's not a Jedi, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And when he faded away and his cloak just blew off like a fart in the wind, my head just dropped to the floor, and I just shook my head and I went, "Well, that's it. It's all over. What the hell are they doing?" And my heart sank. And I walked out of the cinema not knowing what to say to the two people I went with that we'd planned for weeks to go and see this film at Christmas. And
so it wasn't.
We took lightsabers. We took lightsabers to the cinema. We were play fighting in the foyer with people looking at us. We don't care. We love Star Wars. And we just came out. I felt like just dropping it in the bin. And I think it was like I had a Christmas tree up that was shaped like the shape like Kylo Ren. I had the mask on it. I had the two Christmas lights at the top, red eyes looking through it like Ruin's mask. I had like Force Awakens memorabilia, Last Jedi memorabilia, just everywhere. I was just so looking forward to this film, right? And then I just got home and I just sat in the chair, quiet, didn't say anything, and then went to bed. And the next day, I boxed everything to do with the Disney trilogy up and took it to Oxfam.
Jeez.
Said, there you go, and that was it. My Star Wars happened
Ruin?
Before this, so that's my in a nutshell stance on it. Yeah.
I have a theory about pleasure pain. Left, right.
You prefer pain, don't you, Brian?
Left, right, up, down, in, out. There's always an opposite to
same thing. Pineapple,
so
cancer.
you had the high, didn't you, of Return of the Jedi?
Return of the Jedi.
Yes, and then you had the low.
Yeah, it was the ultimate low. It was the ultimate low. So from the ultimate high, and then that was the ultimate low.
So you, as a fan, you felt it at each end of the spectrum, as it were.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that didn't have that perspective on it, because there are a lot of people that kind of jumped on because they saw Star Wars as something popular. So they just thought, I'm going to be a fan of this now. And there's also kids that have only really just it's only on their radar for like the last 5-10 years. So they're not going to have that perspective at all. But there's a lot of fans out there who, we're in 4 decades now. We saw the films when they're in the cinema, or saw them back in the day, whether on VHS or whatever. We were just diehard fans. They were in our DNA, these films, and you're never going to take that disappointment away from the effect that something like The Last Jedi is going to have on those people.
As I famously said, when I make a movie, I want half the audience to hate me and the other half to fucking hate me. And I think I successfully achieved that with The Last Jedi.
Good work.
Oh boy, did you?
I know, Ruin, you ruined my friend. It's your fault.
Damaged goods.
Me and my mate were down the pub actually talking about the film, and we were just calling before we even saw your account. We were just calling him Rian Johnson, and then when your account just popped up, we like ruined them out. We just thought, this is great. I've got to follow this straight away. But well done for getting in there.
Yeah, I can't claim to have been the person who actually made up that pun, but yeah, I think I heard it somewhere and I thought, oh, that would make a fun Twitter account to amuse me for a few weeks. 4 years on.
Still growing.
So, Ruin, so it was definitely a conscious decision to do something about The Last Jedi, is why you kind of decided to do the parody account.
Yeah, like I say, there's a lot of videos, Geeks and Gamers and Doomcock and lots of other people doing some really great videos where they really vent how they felt about it and everything. And I just thought, well, yeah, I feel really pissed off about it as well, but I'm going to have some fun with this. I'm going to, as you say, in a good old British way, I'm going to take the piss, and that'll be my way of venting. Yeah, and that's how it started. And then, it's as the account grew, and obviously people, a lot of people felt the same. They kind of felt ripped off by it, and as the account grew, it kind of led towards the very first Shill wars, when it was clear we had this divide in the fandom. We had fans who were being just very honest and calling Disney out. And then you had the other half who would see, no fault in anything that was ever put on screen. It could be a hot turd straight from a dog's arse, but as long as it had the Lucasfilm logo on it, then that's all good for that side of the fan base. So, so that's what led me to, while the account was kind of growing, to create this Shill Wars concept, this Twitter tournament, and then that's when it all exploded. You had, for everyone who got angry about it, you had people who found it hilarious, and it, just become an annual thing.
So from the beginning of, from when you saw The Last Jedi, how long do you think, in terms of months or weeks, do you think it was before you realized yourself that the Twitter was kind of, in inverted commas, getting serious?
Yeah, probably. It's probably only a couple of months, 2-3 months. Because I expected. Wow. Yeah, I expected the Rian Johnson thing to have a bit of fun with it for a few weeks. Maybe a month or two. No one expected the kind of fallout we got from The Last Jedi. But as more people went to see it and realized there was other like-minded people who felt the same out there, I just became one of the prominent accounts, just really calling it for what it is, and in my own way, via the method of satire. So yeah, within a few months, it was really growing quite quickly, and I was getting much to the frustration of my own author account, which was just kind of leveled off. This Rian Johnson thing was just growing by the day. So yeah, I just thought,
did you get obsessed by it at any point?
No, genuinely and honestly, no. I got to a point, quite quickly, where I realized that there's no point me even checking the notifications or DMs, because for everyone who's, hey, Ruin, love this meme, there's someone who wants to kill me or threatening to kill me, or next time they're over in Britain, they're going to find me. And
oh dear, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe the bit of an eye opener.
What's the worst threat you've had?
I got some weird stalker who's literally leaves like huge 3,000-word essays on some of my YouTube videos.
It's not you, is it, Matt?
No,
not
not complimentary, unfortunately. But
Oh, that's
yeah. And what's funniest is the central core of his argument is, The Last Jedi had a 93% critic approval rating. How can all those critics be wrong?
Oh, Christ.
Quite easily, 'cause it's shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it fails to mention it's got the lowest audience rating out of all the Star Wars movies. But hey, as long as the paid critics give it the thumbs up, then
what was the strangest one? Something that's totally kind of left field.
A dick pic.
Oh God.
What, a picture of yourself?
Yours,
Kathleen, on 120.
It was like an angry dick pic. like fuck you in capitals, and then I don't know whether they thought I'd open it and I'd be around other people or something. I don't know what they were thinking, but yeah, I thought that was.
Is that when you realised you'd reached the big time?
You'd arrived.
I've made
arrived.
it. I've made it. Yeah, I should have screenshotted that and retweeted it.
And that was literally within a few months of setting the account up.
Yeah, the thing which really kicked it into gear was, like I say, the very first Shill Wars, because all of a sudden you are calling out real people, and they get wind of...
What year? Sorry,
2018. 2018 was the first one, yeah. So a few months after the Last Jedi, and yeah, so, you're calling out real people for the ridiculous, pro Disney, Rian Johnson can do no wrong takes, and I think a lot of people, agreed with that, and we all had a bit of fun at their expense about it. And like I say, that's what led Brian Young in particular to get so angry. He felt the need to dox me and to contact my employer and to really take it to another level. But
that's not. That's not cricket, is it?
No, he's got his own skeletons in the closet, Brian Young. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that.
Deflection.
Ruin,
could I just ask you to check your private message, please?
Ooh.
I will check my private message. It's
because
not another dick pic, is it?
Yeah, because if you're available later on, we could maybe just do a proper deep dive into the Shill Wars stuff.
Yeah, because we've done 90 minutes just on getting to this point, haven't we?
So this is the warm up, and then everybody is aware that we're going to do the deep dive stuff either some point later, maybe tomorrow, day after.
Yeah. Okay.
When you're available, and well, shall we come on at say 20, 30 GMT, around that kind of same time as today, and do another 90 minutes?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll find a slot, and because it would be good to give you the full dirty details of Shill Wars and all the characters involved and all the fallout. And
I think basically we've just got you warmed up, and I've just got warmed up as well, because
you only shill when you're winning. Shill when you're winning.
So as I said, we'll just finish off at 90 minutes, because that's a nice time to just buy our leave, and then what we'll do is we'll come back later for everybody at home. So like, share, subscribe, click the notifications bell, and we'll probably come. Shall we? I know, bell end. Shall we? Do you fancy coming back tomorrow, Ruin?
Tomorrow, possibly the day after. Let me check my.
Subvert your expectations.
Let me check my schedule.
The master of subverting expectations is at us again.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
You're maybe forgetting I've got a goddamn trilogy I'm working on. I'm very busy at the moment. Trilogy's dropping any day now.
They don't write themselves.
Just make sure you
out too.
But yeah, we'll find a slot in the next couple of days, definitely.
Yeah. So as I said to everybody who's watching in the chat, click the subscribe and click the notifications. There will be more of the mighty Rian Johnson. We've not finished with him yet, like most people have. So we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because we're British and we're like that. So
what? She lied to us.
Shit. I thought I got away with that then. Cheers, Courtney.
How dare you?
So
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, guys. At times like this, sometimes I wish I were a damned ranker like Cook
he's into
or Hutch.
Zulu. So anyway.
This is Zulu addiction,
As we said, going back to when you said that you watched some of the old films and they stand up well because of no
CGI.
as you said earlier. No CGI.
There's actual Zulus in that thing. What?
So we got to the point where somebody had sent you a picture of their own personal parts. So that's when you realized. That's when you realized it was getting serious.
Yeah, when I realised that I was really riling up some people with the Rian Johnson shtick. Yeah, and like I say, it got to the point where I was just, I ain't going to check the DMs anymore or the notifications. I'm going to bang my tweet out there and let it run wild. And and for that reason, there's probably, I'll say it now for anyone who follows me on Twitter, and if I don't happen to see your replies or notifications, that's why it's such a shit show. My notifications that I don't go there. But no, it's been fun and I've enjoyed. You know what? I actually have to say, as much as I get a kick out of doing it, I find some of the replies absolutely hilarious, and some of the people who play along with it are way more humorous than I ever am. So that's partly kept me going. If I'm honest, I would actually miss the engagement and some of the funny memes and this is the thing that all these people on the other side of the fandom don't realize. We're just having a whole load of fun over here.
It's the positive side of it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
People, it's like we're together now because of it, and there is positivity. It's just some people just latch on to the negativity a lot.
Yeah, they just say basically. Yeah, they just say that we're all haters and stuff, but it's quite the opposite, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we've spent most of this 90 minutes talking about how much we love Star Wars, how much we love the originals, what we liked about the prequels, even some of the possibilities in the sequels. But we just get written off as haters. But let them think what they want. Yeah,
but we're not though. I don't think there's been any really bad words on this. Just been pure love for Star Wars, and we're just desperate for good Star Wars.
That's all it is. Yeah, and that's it. It's just holding them to account, and it's not accepting anything with a Disney Lucasfilm logo on it. It's just demanding the best, and that's because we've had the best in the past. And you don't ask for perfection, but you do ask for respect to what Lucas produced, respect to the original characters.
We've had moments. Brief moments recently, I
think that's what sort of lulled us into a false sense of security, wasn't it? When they released Rogue One, which was after The Force Awakens, everyone was like, bloody hell, they know what they're doing here. This is great. They're getting so many details right. They're abiding by the law. The characters are great. I mean, well, you could say a lot of the characters fell flat for a lot of people, but for a lot of other people, they really enjoyed it. And it felt like a proper Star Wars film, especially with the Vader bit and the space battle. And, they got it. It was so accurate. It was so accurate. And they got a lot of goodwill with that movie. And those same people were met with the freight train that was Episode 8, like a year later.
Do you think? Do you think that is the best Star Wars film they've done? Sorry,
I have to. Yeah, personally, I think so. Yeah, I don't know what Ruin thinks.
Say so. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and what these Last Jedi defenders will say is, well, look, it made X amount in the cinema. Yeah, because we all thought it was going to be an awesome movie.
Should have made double.
What they don't point is the horrendous merch sales and then the absolute bombing of Solo, which was directly as a result of how badly Last Jedi was.
Just a few months later, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was if Disney had any sense, they would have postponed Solo because it was too soon. People were still reeling from The Last Jedi, and it was just the following summer, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even think Solo was all that bad, really.
For me, again, we could get into it, but for me, Alden, I can never say Ehrenreich, is it? Never really convinced me as Solo, so that was the central problem for me. But even I look now at some of the stuff they do with deepfake, and I think they've actually done something with the Solo footage, but with the young Harrison Ford in, and it makes you realize, wow, it could have worked, yeah. But the point being, people were pissed off by The Last Jedi, and the merch massively suffered. Solo massively suffered, and that's all because of
we suffered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And on that note, it's 1 hour 30. So, Ruin, you're more than willing to come back, and we'll do the deep dive on the Shill Wars, because I feel like we could do 90 minutes on that anyway. So it'd be an injustice to kind of just briefly...
Return of the Johnson.
Yes, so we'll do part 70 at some point, either tomorrow or the day after. So to everybody in the chat,
wrapping up a 69.
If you liked what you've heard, the warm up for the main event, please tell your friends.
Mopping up.
Yeah, mopping up more like. Please tell your friends about the stream. Get them to watch. Get the watch hours up. Obviously, click the subs and notifications so you see part 2 of this. And what we'll do is we'll get into the interesting stuff with the Shill Wars, which we'll get into the meat of it, as it were. So we've got that to look forward to. So from the bottom, I will thank Matthew. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, sir. It's been an honour.
Courtney, cheers, my friend.
Bollocks.
Indeed. And I don't know are you wonderful or are you just a bastard, Ruin?
I'm a certified bastard, yes. But I prefer the moniker Man Baby, if that's okay with you.
So we'll just we will thank the Man Baby for going out of his way and stopping the writing for the new trilogy. So we will thank the Man Baby for that. I hope you had a good time, my friend. It's been wonderful.
I've enjoyed it, chaps. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
As we said, the best thing about all this is that you meet new friends talking about common things, and we're not haters. And I just think we are make love, not war, peeps. I just think these people I just don't think they get it. So maybe Ruin one day they'll understand. But
drop acid, not bombs.
Yes. So everybody in the chat and who have stuck with us to the end, we do thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And we will see you next time. So I'll play the outro. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mamba.
Bye.